Was already facing fraud charges in a bizarre case, burying an empty urn and leaving a woman's body in the back of his van.
Well, now Thomas Clock, the owner of Clock Funeral Home in Whitehall, is accused of burying yet another empty urn, this time without the ashes of a little boy.
24-hour News 8's Ken Kolker has followed this story from the start, and tonight he's in Muskegon County with the new developments.
The Muskegon County Sheriff's Department used a search warrant to exhume an urn that had been buried here more than a year ago. When they pulled that urn out, it was empty.
Talking with the family, they're like, yeah, I mean, we had this full private little service for him, and of course he's buried. That's what we did with him.
Ryan Zach was 5 months old when he died at the hospital from complications of premature birth. His parents asked Thomas Clock, the longtime owner of Clock Funeral Home in Whitehall, to handle the arrangements. Ryan's death certificate shows he was cremated, his remains then buried. That's what his parents thought until detectives started investigating Clock.
On top of the loss of the infant, here they think they've had the proper service for the child and you know, interred him properly, and then trying to find some closure with that, and now having to kind of relive everything. I think it's, I can only imagine the anguish that they're feeling.
The investigation started after Clock was arrested for drunk driving in January. Several days later, the body of 86-year-old Helen Anthony of Muskegon was found in the back of his van. She was supposed to have been cremated weeks earlier. When police dug up her urn at the Fruitland Township Cemetery, it was empty. That's what led to a search of Clock's funeral home, where detectives found other cremated remains, including Ryan Zach's. They also learned he was supposed to have been buried also at the Fruitland Township Cemetery. Any idea how many more empty urns he might have buried?
We don't. There's really no way of telling that.
Has anyone asked him why? I mean, why? I mean, the infant was cremated. Why an empty urn?
Yeah, that's certainly something we need to try and nail down. But at this point, we don't have an answer for that.
We reached out to the boy's family, which didn't want to talk about the case. The sheriff says they've returned the remains to the parents.
I hope at some point, and if we can assist, that we can give the infant a proper burial.
It's not clear when Clock will be in court next to face new charges. In the meantime, he's at the Muskegon County Jail on a $500,000 bond. In Fruitland Township, Ken Kolker, 24-hour News 8.